Hello, everybody. Just checking my mic, making sure everything's working real quick. Yep. Okay. I'm on Zoom. I'm going to be uploading these really quick, as fast as I can, because you guys need to see this stuff. This vid is going to be about, I guess, an update on police brutality and government escalation of the situation. So here we go. Gonna start sharing my screen. All right. So this is how big this document has gotten, by the way. Police brutality so far starts on page 8. So let's run through a quick recap. On the 28th, Trump says these thugs deserve to be shot. Looting starts, shooting starts. From the mouth, that's a direct quote from a white supremacist police chief in Miami, sheriff during the civil rights movements when they were squashing protests. May 28th, Minneapolis cops drives by protesters wildly spraying pepper spray. Let's take a look at a clip. Oh, come on. Did they really take it down? Shoot. Man, I really hate this live streaming crap. Here we go. Peaceful protest. Completely peaceful. That is in Minneapolis on the 28th. Hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Come on, this thing is so stupid. Cool. All right. So that happened on the 28th in Minneapolis. Next one, New York City Police Department coughing on peaceful protesters during the pandemic night of the 28th.
New York. The whole thing. So it's oh my God, you on camera.
Okay, great. CNN team arrested by the Minnesota police. This is getting covered everywhere, so I really don't think I need to talk about it. His white colleague did not get arrested, same area, doing the same thing, all on camera. In New York City, cops have purposely hit protesters with their cars as they drive by, May 29th. This one, New York Police Department officer DeAndrea from 73rd Police District, May 29th, shoves a girl down for no reason, bangs her head, she has a seizure, severe concussion. Police horse on the 29th in Houston, Texas, trampled a woman in the crowds. May 29th, news photographer had eye shot out by the police in Minneapolis. Here's the proof. Seattle police pepper spray peaceful protesters for no reason. May 30th. This sparked the riot. This incited the riot. Yeah. people saying police are not instigating things have their eyes closed, and I'm documenting it here. African-American Congresswoman pepper sprayed during racism protest. This is crazy. Cop just starts beating on someone, pulling him out of the crowd for seemingly no reason. And you can see a video, photo montage here. The elderly black woman, I think with the gray hair, is a congresswoman. There's multiple angles on this, multiple videos. But she's a black congresswoman in Columbus, Ohio, and trying to stop them, trying to help, and the police just merciless. This one is the one that really gets me. This is the moment I realized that this is worse than I could have ever imagined. Oh, they took it down. Are you freaking kidding me? This is why I'm documenting this stuff, because I knew this type of crap would happen, that it would get hidden or taken down. There we go. Alternate link.
You gotta go, and that's fine with us.
Okay.
We got plenty of time here.
Ah! Are you okay? I'm getting shot! I'm getting... Katie, are you okay?
Rubber bullets, it's okay. It's those pepper bullets. It's those pepper bullets.
Who are they aiming that at?
Why are you shooting at the photographer?
At us, like directly at us. Directly
Why
at
are they
us.
doing that?
He's shooting at our crew.
Okay, Louisville, Kentucky, May 30th. Actually, I think it's probably May 29th, May 29th, yeah. This one is San Jose, California. I am from Southern California, and I have been to San Jose many times.
Disperse! Everybody move westbound on Santa Clara Street towards City Hall!
That cop is smiling, ready to take people down. He has a rubber bullet gun. I'm going to talk about rubber bullets in a second, because rubber bullets is a misnomer, and that's part of what's forming the narrative, and it's disgusting. This is May 30th. I'm not sure where this is. It's hard to tell because people on Reddit are obviously not too concerned with showing data and location for people like me researching it. Cop pulls down this guy's face mask and just starts pepper spraying him for no reason. Right in the face. During a pandemic. Disgusting. This one is also crazy. The mayor of New York City also basically said that this is a protester's fault and that it's unacceptable to surround a squad car. And then multiple news sources have not covered this, and they've shown the beginning and then cut away from what actually happens. Here we go. Yeah. New York City, that's on May 30th, approximately 7:50 p.m. This one, HuffPost reporter, I've already talked about this, captured, no news location, everyone was worried. No reason. This is when they're chasing people down the street. Memphis, Tennessee, police targeting one black woman and swarm her, I think the night of the 30th. If you didn't hear that, all these cops, they're saying, get her, somebody get the girl, get her. Looks pretty peaceful going on there. May 30th, again, Memphis, Tennessee. Here's a video of a Vice journalist, Michael Anthony Adams, also on the night of May 30th in New York. Police pointing weapons at these reporters. Clearly reporters. Police just raided the gas station we were sheltering at. After shouting press multiple times and raising my press card in the air, I was thrown to the ground. Then another cop came up and pepper sprayed me in the face while I was being held down. This is at the same time that HuffPost reporter Chris Mathias is being captured. There's other videos and angles of this where the cops are just unprovoked running through streets and starting to try to squash protests by arresting people, shooting people with quote-unquote rubber bullets.
Press! 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 I'm press!
I don't care, get down. I'm press. I don't care, get
I'm
down.
down. I'm down. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, he said he gets pepper sprayed too. It's on video. I don't need to show every minute of it. It's longish. There's a lot more to get to. This one from Oklahoma City. I had friends there, and the night of the 30th, and I had friends there last night too. So I'm going to get back to this shortly, because the videos in the local media are not covering that well. So Minneapolis, Minnesota, evening of May 30th, Minneapolis police walk along an empty neighborhood street in Whittier neighborhood. People on their own porch filming. Police start shooting at them. It's pretty grotesque.
Look at this. They just keep coming.
Oh, go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up!
Light them up.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
Animals. Disgusting animals. This one is I have a hard time watching this because she's narrating and she's really upset. But basically, Molly Hennessy Fisk, LA Times reporter, is in Minneapolis about 8:30 p.m. the night of the May 30th. Minnesota State Patrol fires tear gas and rubber bullets at point-blank range for no reason at a group of about 12 reporters and crew members who were peacefully doing their job and asking where they should go. State police chased them into a building where they were forced to hide. This resulted in a cameraman being captured by police. Here's a quote from her. The officers started by firing tear gas indiscriminately into the street. We watched, cameras rolling, but instead of passing, the officers turned, backed us up against the precinct wall and fired. Press, I shouted, waving my notebook an arm's length from an officer in riot gear, advancing through the smoke. The officer said nothing, just kept firing. Cole, I think a cameraman or photographer, was hit in the face. Other reporters piled on top of me against the wall. That, plus my goggles and mask, shielded me from most of the gas, but officers kept firing. We realized we had to run, too. We were not exempt. They were treating us as scofflaws. Here is a tweet. Call from Minneapolis. Store on the corner of her block was set on fire last night. Firefighters couldn't respond, so our neighbors banded together to extinguish the blaze themselves. As they were finishing, police drove up and threw a flashbang grenade at them. So I guess police don't want anybody to help each other. They don't want people to be less destructive. They want it to continue. May 30th, 10:30 p.m. Los Angeles, California, May 30th, 9:17 p.m. Not sure if that's Central or Pacific. I'm pretty sure it's Central. I think this is 7:17 p.m. Pacific. Direct quote, I can't believe what I just witnessed. LAPD just opened fire on peaceful protesters who are chanting, "Don't shoot," with their hands up on 3rd Street in Hollywood. People are running and screaming. If you don't think this is fascistic, you're either an idiot or an immoral person. And I'm not judging your ultimate value, like I've said in previous video, but you've got to get on the right side of this. This is evil. This is fascism. This is totalitarianism and a police state running amok. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Here's an independent journalist getting assaulted.
Hey, up!
he's filming this guy get arrested really roughly. I don't know what happened with the guy. I don't know what he did. Or if he didn't do it, who knows? There's no accountability anyway.
Beat it. I'm a journalist, sir. Care what you are. Beat it. I'm a journalist.
I'm a journalist, sir. I don't care what you are. Beat it. Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's early morning, May 31st. Here is New York. I think somewhere in New York City, might be Brooklyn. Night of May 30th.
I'm in my house. Fuck you. I'm in my house. I'm in my house, pussy. Fuck you. I'm in my house.
So he's in his house, and a cop just sprays him with pepper spray while he's in his house. That is insane. That is so unconstitutional. It's disgusting. Anyone on the right wing who wants small government, anyone on the right wing who says there's a right to bear arms to prevent tyranny, this is it. That you're not united against us means you're a hypocrite, and that, no, you're not even a hypocrite because you really don't even care about that. You don't care about small government and liberty. You care about you having comfort, you having material possessions. You don't actually care about those principles. No way. Sorry, I just got a text. More first-hand information from somebody at some of the, I think the Santa Monica, California protests. Sorry, no, LA and Long Beach protests. So this one, Los Angeles, California, May 31st. Tina Desiree Berg. These ones are too long to show, but they're right here in the document. LA County Sheriff telling her to go to her car, shows him press ID, and he still demands she get to her car, even though she physically cannot do so or would be run over by police. Hundreds of police driving through the street. She physically can't get there. Shortly after, she gets to her car and tries to leave. Then she films a wall of cops shooting rubber bullets at her and others in their car while stuck in traffic. The cars could not move but were stuck, and the cops began firing for no reason, May 31st. Crazy. May 31st, again, that was Los Angeles, California. Okay, here's a tweet from Trump during all this. May 31st, 11:23 a.m., about the same time that shit's going down. Antifa is a terrorist organization? I'm going to do a very brief separate video on this, but Antifa has no organization. Antifa is not an official group. I'm Antifa because I'm a member of the Facebook group in Oklahoma. There's no such thing as an organized Antifa group. It's just people who identify as anti-fascist, and it's from every ideology there is, other than right-wing fascism, can be affiliated with Antifa. They don't plan events. They support events, and some groups of people that all identify as Antifa might plan to go to an event, but they're not like an organization doing any of this. They don't have they don't have a leadership structure, unlike the government, who is clearly perpetrating great harm. This one is just that May 31st, California Border Patrol deploying to assist. In various Border Patrol agencies, there are white supremacy groups. There's a source there. That's been a problem for a while. This one is crazy. LA County orders curfew in wake of George Floyd protests. So May 31st, LA County sends out emergency alerts at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, advising a 6 p.m. curfew. And then there's a image on Sarah Shower's Twitter account. She got it less than 30 minutes. She got it like 15 minutes before the curfew starts. So they're really just giving an excuse to tear gas people with impunity. May 31st, 2020, 9:42 p.m. I'm with a very mellow group of protesters just south of Union Square now, taking a knee in the street. New York Police Department announcing over loudspeaker that the protesters have become violent and are creating a disturbance. I feel like a crazy person. Gaslighting people. Minneapolis, May 31st. National Guard in Minnesota given permission to carry unloaded rifles. That's all over the news now. I don't need to show any videos, but yeah, National Guard is walking around with rifles. This claim I'm not sure about. Minneapolis, Minnesota, May 31st, about the same time. Per Natalie Nelson, resident of Phillips neighborhood in Minneapolis, the National Guard has warned the neighborhood white supremacist gangs will likely be coming through the area this evening. I don't see any proof of that. No one's giving up any proof. I'm sure there are some white supremacists, but this was used as an excuse to let National Guard start carrying assault rifles to manage these protests, and that is a recipe for disaster. And with no proof. Minneapolis, DW News reporters threatened by cops that they would be arrested, shot with non-lethal rounds. June 1st, 12 a.m., other news crew harassed.
At us. Stefan, they're shooting at you.
We're press! This is press, guys!
We're media!
Stop shooting at us! We're in the middle of a live shot!
Stay back here. Get the camera back. Stay by the car.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna get maced! Boys!
Guys, come on! We're doing a job! And this is the Senate press accreditation, so come on!
Roll up on freaking cops! Go!
We're not doing anything!
Oh, you're gonna get arrested. All right, let's go then.
I'm not gonna get arrested.
Yes, you are.
For what?
Get in the truck now!
Conduct, as you can see in the
Again, that was June 1st in Minneapolis, about 12 a.m. This one's a Seattle cop on a bike in riot gear. This guy's just peacefully walking. And all of his little cop buddies protect him like the crap heads they are. I'm just still making sure that this is working. I've never done this before. Cool. Okay. Also, Seattle, Washington, police tackle, pepper spray, tear gas, and beat peaceful protesters. For no reason, it seems. And when I say no reason, I mean I do not see any justification. You see one protester trying to help and getting punched and headlocked. Look at that, hands up, still spraying him. That is peaceful. That's as peaceful as you could possibly be when you see your fellow citizens getting harassed by the police. God. Okay, and then now this culminates. Trump declares himself the law and order president as peaceful protesters dispersed. That's a CNN source. I don't trust CNN. They are complicit in making this worse and in crafting a narrative against the protests and on the side of the cops. So I'm going to, there's a link to the Fox News stream of the president's remarks, and these are direct quotes. Trump calls himself the president of law and order, blames Antifa for organizing destruction and violence. Remember, recently, just a day or two ago, Trump said that Antifa is a terrorist group and will be registered as one. Says state, local governments have not done enough, even though you're seeing all this footage of them being insanely violent and instigating things. Says there are violent mobs. Says New York's finest have been hit in the face with bricks. Says the vandalism are acts of domestic terror and a crime against humanity and God. I'm mobilizing all federal, civilian, and military resources to stop the rioting and looting. Sorry, I'm burping. Just had this. To end the destruction, arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights? What does that mean? Is that a dog whistle to say, like, white conservatives get your guns? I don't know what that means. What? No one's Second Amendment rights are being threatened. If anything, the government and the police are threatening our rights, not the other way around. No one's trying to take your guns away. What does that mean? The only thing I could think it means is it's either total nonsense or it is some sort of dog whistle and subtle way of saying, get ready to get your guns, right-wingers. First, we're ending the riots and lawlessness. We will end it now. So it's not we're going to control things. It's we're squashing this. We will dominate the streets with the National Guard. If a city refuses to take the actions that are necessary, then I will deploy the U.S. military and quickly solve the problem for them. So if a city or state, he literally says a city or state. I misquoted that. If they don't agree with the federal government, if they don't agree and don't want to be brutal, he's going to be brutal anyway. I'm dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, law enforcement officers to stop the rioting. Our 7 p.m. curfew will be strictly enforced. I want the organizers of this terror to be on notice that you will face lengthy criminal penalties. And then again, calls out Antifa as a terrorist group, which again, there is no organized group called Antifa. Basically, everyone that's actually a leftist or everyone that's not a fascist can be part of Antifa, whether they're a libertarian or conservative or liberal, and it's not organized at all. It's disgusting. So now let's talk about Oklahoma City and some of these firsthand accounts from friends and friends of friends and people on the ground that I know. Okay? The Oklahoma City stuff is crazy. Oklahoma City is one of the most violent police departments in the world. They are really up there on racial violence. And the local media is, again, creating a map, a paradigm, a point of view, a narrative in people's heads by focusing on the good stuff. Shut up. Shut up. So May 30th, evening and nighttime. Peaceful until police started tear gassing the peaceful protest, arresting large numbers of people for seemingly no reason to try to quash the protest quickly. Within a few hours of protest starting, cops using more dangerous riot control projectiles. Not foam projectiles or pepper spray, but shotgun-loaded rubber bullets and grenade launcher fired rubber bullets. And I'm going to get into that. I'll get into that lastly. And from Reddit user Ironman0412, just the night before May 31st, so May 30th, that night, the night the protests in Oklahoma City started, I witnessed 20 to 30 police shoot an unarmed peaceful protesters with the less than lethal rounds and throw tear gas at them for hours. While there was some vandalism after the first round of tear gas, the vandals were gone. It was about 3 people that destroyed 2 cop cars. But the police shot at peaceful protesters for the rest of the night, claiming it was no longer peaceful, even though nothing had happened for hours. All respect for police lost after watching what happened. They were fully armed in riot gear before anyone had showed up, escalating the situation immediately as people arrived. They were there. My friends were there. Multiple people confirming this that I trust. Not just people that are far left Antifa. These are clergymen and organized traditional Christian churches. These are pastors. These are people that go to these churches with traditional Christian beliefs. Okay? These are not radicals that people are trying to paint. These are philosophers that I know. These are people who are concerned, people peaceful out there, being brutalized by the police. And it's very hard to see on video. Because KOCO, I'm going to call them out, their helicopter footage was fear-mongering and disgusting. And it was completely inconsistent with everything that anybody that I've talked to on the ground or live streams I've seen from the perspective of the protesters said. Now, the next day, May 31st, evening and nighttime, I'm going to give context. The media and a bunch of dumb, naive, I'm sorry, people on Twitter, including me, retweeting pictures of a bunch of Oklahoma City police officers kneeling in support of the protest, shaking hands, being nice. That was in the middle of the afternoon on May 31st. Well, here comes evening. Direct quote. Oklahoma City folks, apparently News 9 and their helicopter reporter, Jim Gardner, and are the absolute worst thing you could be watching for accurate information on today's protests. Seriously, that guy needs to be fired for the absurd and ignorant fear-mongering. Okay. So the news is not reporting. The news is focusing on the people, the cops kneeling in support. And a bunch of people are tweeting it out and having the narrative crafted in front of their eyes like that, and their attention focused on the good cops. At the same time, the media is saying things that are inconsistent with experience on the ground for people directly there. And then Oklahoma City Police Department had snipers on a bunch of buildings at both the Capitol and in front of the Oklahoma City Police Department headquarters. Oklahoma City Police Department blocked protesters near the police department building and gave them only one way to exit. They were trying to herd us like cattle. Once the sun went down, some protesters lit off fireworks. Protesters with megaphones got protesters to stop with fireworks. Someone threw a cup of water at a cop, and this triggered the police to fire tear gas and rubber bullets. We had our hands up, and we were chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot." Cops blocked us from reaching our car, and we had nowhere to go to obey curfew. We couldn't escape. We went into the designated curfew zone, and the cops were still shooting at us. The cops kneeling was all for a photo op PR. They had no restraint. Guess what? See this phone? This phone, while that was happening, I was on the phone with this person. That's a direct quote from them. I could hear it in the background. And they were there with masks for COVID. They were there giving medical care, passing out granola bars and water bottle. They are a dedicated pacifist. They are one of the sweetest people I know, and that whole group of friends that they're with that I know are some of the sweetest, most altruistic, most kind, timid, soft-spoken, and nonviolent people. And they were getting chased through the streets and shot at with rubber bullets by the Oklahoma City Police Department. It's just disgusting. And you know, I'm just going to show right here. This is my Reddit post where I'm updating things on this. I just want to show all these bootlickers in the comments talking about how all of these people are bad, basically, or that the cops are justified, or that they're not instigating things. So you should go on this link. It's you'll be able to find it. It's one of the top on the Oklahoma subreddit. But just a bunch of bootlickers. It's disgusting to me. It makes me want to vomit. I'm sorry. It's so gross. It's so gross. People who weren't there spreading rumors that protesters threw a Molotov at a civilian car, where it's on video what happened. It's just ridiculous. Somebody put a freaking, like, a weak little smoke bomb in the back of a horse trailer because the horse trailer tried to plow through a bunch of protesters, like thousands of protesters on the highway. And then that person took out a gun and flashed a gun when protesters started banging their truck. It's ridiculous. Here's Madison, Wisconsin, also talking as this was happening with these two friends. May 31st, 11 p.m., two friends with a young baby are telling me that police are tear gassing their neighborhood around. Irresponsible, because tear gas can easily seep into residential buildings and harm their kid. They're tear gassing next to their house. They are letting tear gas seep into innocent civilians' houses. It's just insane. Okay, now just quick on political statements. Biden's statement didn't mention police brutality or anything even once. Representative Anthony Sabatini. Oh, is he Florida? Shoot, no. Yeah, Florida legislature. Look at this. Attention potential protesters coming near Lake County, Florida. This is an AR-15. This will be a very common sight upon illegal entry at any Lake County business, FYI. That's so gross. Also, no one's doing anything in Congress. Reached out to half a dozen Hill aides. Nobody thinks Congress will move anything in response. House is out in June. Senate may confirm more judges. No chance, one says, of a legislative response. Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz. This is one of the worst things I've seen. Now that we clearly see Antifa as terrorists, can we hunt them down like we do those in the Middle East? Fuck you. This is from audio from CNN or CBS News. You have to dominate. If you don't dominate, you're wasting your time. They're going to run over you. You're going to look like a bunch of jerks. You have to dominate. Washington was under very good control, but we're going to have it under much more control. We're going to pull in thousands of people. You've got to arrest people. You have to track people. You have to put them in jail for 10 years, and you'll never see this stuff again. Consistent with everything else he said, so I do not doubt it one bit. Okay, let's talk about rubber bullets. 40-millimeter rubber bullet. I'm going to tell you what the hell these are because people don't get it. These are launched out of grenade launchers. An M203 40-millimeter grenade launcher or similar weapons works like this. It's a gigantic bullet with the primer and a pin strikes. It hits the primer, the gunpowder explodes and sends a projectile flying. This is not what they're shooting people with. This is what they want you to think. This is sponge round. No. Those are really dangerous and can kill you. But no, what they're shooting people with is this. These are metal, okay? A lot of these are metal that's coated in rubber. These things are heavy. They're massive. They are not all shooting these Nerf rounds, right? But even if they were all shooting these Nerf rounds can still kill you. They can explode your eyeball if they hit them, even from a distance, like that one reporter. Her eyeball literally exploded. She's blind forever, for certain. Oh, look at that. That's nice. You launch them out of, like I said, grenade launchers. These are grenade launcher shells that have been loaded to fire these sorts of projectiles. You can see a big one here with a tip. This is a piece of metal covered in rubber. So is that. These things are heavy. These are lethal. And you can see what it can do. Oh, you can see what it can do. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Sorry, these are graphic. But that's what's happening. So, my fellow Americans, what are we going to do about this? I do not know how to use Zoom. I'm like these dorky professors I've been working with who are old and don't know how to do anything. What are we going to do? This is insane. This is insanity. Now, Trump has clearly shown himself to be a fascist. He is calling for domination of the people, squashing these riots outright, restoring law and order, shifting the blame onto the protesters, like I covered in my last video, and encouraging heavily armed military personnel to come in and stop these. He literally said heavily armed. Matt Gaetz wanting to hunt down Antifa people, even though it literally is incoherent. There's no such thing as Antifa, other than people who are anti-fascist and openly acting and saying they're Antifa, okay? And for the record, if anyone wants to come after me, I would say that, yeah, at this point, I'm Antifa too. And basically every leftist on Twitter is. But this level of police brutality is like nothing I've ever seen, and now it's being recorded. And again, these are only things that are being recorded. Not only that, these are the only things that one person sitting here all day and night is seeing. My field of view is like this. If we all came together and looked, our field of view would be like this. But then the truth of what's actually happening is massive, massive. So anyone who can see this video in particular and think that the police are not instigating things, that the police are not escalating things, I'm sorry. You look within yourself and you ask like, are you really that calloused of a person? Are you really that brainwashed? Because even if people are throwing cups at cops, the disproportionate response of these rubber bullets, aka grenade launcher rounds coated in rubber, and tear gas. Tear gas is a serious chemical weapon. And it also does not help disperse protests. So when you get sprayed with pepper spray, you get it in your lungs, you get it in your eyes. That even civilian pepper spray or pepper gel like this, you can't really see, and you have a hard time breathing, and everything hurts and burns. I've gotten some in my eye before, because again, I volunteered for about 6 months with the Orange County Sheriff Department at the end of high school to see if I wanted to be a cop, because I really have changed a lot before becoming a philosopher. I wanted to be a cop or a soldier because I had a lot of the aggression and the sense of thrill, the desire for thrill and adventure that a lot of these cops clearly have. I had that, and I changed. And it was not my own doing, to be clear. I was forced to change through health scares, through religious experiences, through what I think is God reaching down to my life in very concrete ways and saying to go to the right side. So I get it, but this response is disproportionate because tear gas doesn't help disperse crowds. It confuses the people in the crowds. It makes them not be able to see. It makes them cough. It makes them huddled together, and that gives the appearance that they're resisting the police, but it's because they can't fucking see and they can't fucking escape. I want you, anyone who disagrees with what I'm saying right now, get one of these. I want you sprayed on your face. Not even that. I'm not going to ask you to hurt yourself like that. Put a little bit on your fingertip, okay? And then just put it, don't touch your eye. It'll fuck it up for hours. Put it near your eye, like this, like at a distance. You can feel it from there. And this is not police strength. It's serious. This is the end. This is the end of civility. This is the end of both sides. This is the end of friendships, family members. I will turn father against son, daughter against mother. I have not come to bring peace but a sword. I will separate the wheat from the chaff and the sheep from the goats. This is it.